All right, Yankees fans, buckle up because what's happening right now around the Bronx feels like the calm before a massive storm. You can sense it, right? The energy, the uncertainty, the rumors swirling around the clubhouse. It's all leading up to one of the most critical off-seasons this team has faced in years. Let's start by diving straight into the headline that's got everyone talking: Anthony Volpe. Remember when this kid burst onto the scene? Gold glove in hand, flashes of brilliance everywhere, fans chanting his name, and the front office confidently proclaiming that shortstop was locked down for the next decade. Well, fast forward to the 2025 season, and suddenly that bright future doesn't look so certain anymore. Here's the brutal truth. The numbers tell a story that's hard to ignore. Volpe's defense wants his calling card completely unraveled. In 2024, he was one of the best defenders in the entire league with 14 outs above average. 14, but this year, -7. That's not a small drop. That's a full-blown collapse. It's like going from a platinum glove to a gaping hole in the infield overnight. And the struggles didn't stop there. At the plate, things got even more painful. A batting average just over 200, an on-base percentage under 275, and a slugging mark below 400. Those are not the numbers of a cornerstone shortstop. They're the numbers of a guy fighting just to keep his spot in the lineup. But then came the bombshell, the piece of information that changed everything we thought we knew about this season. Turns out, Volpe was playing hurt, seriously hurt. Reports now confirm that he suffered a partial tear in his shoulder labrum all the way back in April. And despite that, he kept playing through it. Imagine that for a second. A 20-something-year-old trying to carry one of the most pressure-filled positions in all of baseball, in one of the toughest markets on the planet, while his shoulder was literally torn. No wonder his swing looked off, no wonder his throws started sailing, and no wonder his confidence seemed to fade. And when you look closer at the numbers before and after that injury, it's night and day. Before April ended, Volpe was hitting .237 with solid power and on-base production. His weighted runs created plus sat at a very respectable 119. He looked like the future we were promised. But after that, everything nosedived. From May onward, his average dipped to barely over 200, his slugging percentage fell through the floor, and his productivity dropped all the way to 74 weighted runs created plus. Basically, he went from a top-tier young shortstop to one of the least effective hitters in the lineup in just a few weeks, and now we know why. The Yankees have confirmed that he underwent surgery to repair that shoulder, and while that's good news in the long run, it also means he's not going to be ready when the 2026 season begins. He'll start the year on the injured list, leaving a massive hole right in the middle of the diamond. That's a nightmare scenario for a team that already has more question marks than answers heading into spring training. The big question now, do you trust that Volpe, once he's healthy, can bounce back to that gold glove level? Or is it time to start looking for a backup plan at shortstop? The free agent market is thin, the internal options are raw, and Brian Cashman has some very difficult decisions ahead of him. And speaking of the front office, we got some huge updates from the recent press conference with Aaron Boone and Cashman themselves. The good news? Aaron Judge's elbow scare isn't as bad as we feared. The captain won't need off-season surgery. You could almost hear the entire Yankees fan base exhale in relief when that was confirmed. Remember, Judge was dealing with that flexor strain back in July, and by August he was limited mostly to designated hitter duties, which threw the entire lineup out of balance. Giancarlo Stanton had to patrol the outfield far more than expected, and the team's defense took a hit because of it. But now Boone says Judge will be ready to go as a full-time outfielder again in 2026. That's huge. Judge back in right field means Stanton can return to being a full-time DH, and the lineup instantly looks more like the one we all expected to see last season. But just when you start to feel optimistic, here comes the gut punch. The Yankees' rotation is in shambles heading into next year. Carlos Rodon just had a procedure to remove loose bodies from his left elbow and won't throw for at least 8 weeks. That's 2 full months of inactivity before he even picks up a baseball, meaning he's almost certainly going to miss opening day. Combine that with the fact that Jarrett Cole is still recovering from Tommy John surgery and won't be back until midseason, and you start to realize how thin this pitching staff really is. Oh, and as if that wasn't enough, Clark Schmidt, who quietly had a solid season before going down, also had Tommy John surgery in July. He's out for the start of 2026 too. So right now the projected rotation looks like Max Fried, Lewis Gill, Cam Schlittler, and Will Warren. Talented? Absolutely. ready to anchor a rotation built to compete for a championship. That's a different story. The lack of depth is glaring, and it puts enormous pressure on the front office to make moves this winter. Whether it's through trades or free agency, something's got to give. Because as it stands, the Yankees' strength, their pitching, has become their biggest vulnerability. And looping back to the infield situation, Cashman officially confirmed what many of us suspected for months. Anthony Volpe's shoulder injury wasn't just nagging. It was a legitimate reason for his decline. Boone reiterated that the young shortstop will indeed start 2026 on the injured list. It's rare for the Yankees brass to be that transparent, and while it's good to have the truth out there, it doesn't make the situation any less painful. The team now faces a massive question: who steps up at shortstop in his absence? There's Oswald Peraza, but his development has been inconsistent. Some have even floated the idea of a temporary veteran signing, though options are limited. Whatever happens, the Yankees will enter the new season with uncertainty right where they can least afford it. And just when you thought the injury chaos was enough drama, Aaron Boone went ahead and dropped another bombshell, this time about the outfield. According to Boone, Jason Dominguez is expected to get regular playing time in 2026, likely in left field. That single statement sent shockwaves through the fan base because it completely changes the dynamic of the Yankees roster. With Judge locked in right and Stanton cemented as the designated hitter, that leaves just 2 outfield spots. And here, where it gets tricky, both Cody Bellinger and Trent Grisham are hitting free agency. Bellinger has a player option he's expected to decline, testing the market after putting up strong power numbers again. Meanwhile, Grisham had a surprisingly productive season, but stumbled badly in the playoffs, which could make the front office hesitant to extend a qualifying offer that would cost over $22 million for 1 year. If Dominguez is guaranteed regular playing time, that means at least one of those 2 power bats won't be back in pinstripes. The math just doesn't work. It's a fascinating dilemma for Cashman and company. Resigning Bellinger seems like the ideal move. He's a proven hitter, he fits the Yankee Stadium dimensions perfectly, and he brings Gold Glove caliber defense. But his price tag is going to be steep, and in a weak free agent market, there's no shortage of teams willing to pay big money for a 30-homer bat. If Bellinger walks, then Grisham becomes the fallback option. The problem: his inconsistency at the plate makes him a risky bet for an everyday role. Still, with Dominguez entering what should be his breakout year, the Yankees might be willing to roll the dice on a cheaper stopgap to balance the payroll. Boone's public commitment to Dominguez is also telling. Last season, the young outfielder barely saw action in September and October. His bat wasn't producing enough, and his defense in crucial moments left the coaching staff hesitant to trust him in late innings. For Boone to now say he'll be a regular part of the lineup, that's a massive shift. It signals confidence in his development, and maybe a willingness from the organization to embrace a bit of growing pain for the sake of long-term success. So when you step back and look at the bigger picture, you see a Yankees team standing at a crossroads. A shortstop recovering from surgery, a rotation in pieces, an outfield in flux, and a front office under enormous pressure to make all the right moves this winter. Every decision will shape the future of this franchise for years to come. All right, let's keep the momentum going, because if you thought the first wave of news was intense, the next set of developments is going to make your head spin. The Yankees are staring down an offseason that could redefine the roster completely. Think about it. Anthony Volpe, one of the brightest young stars, recovering from shoulder surgery, Aaron Judge healthy but the rotation in shambles, and a potential outfield shakeup that could see either Cody Bellinger or Trent Grisham leaving the Bronx. That's a recipe for uncertainty, tension, and honestly, a lot of tough decisions for the front office to make. Let's talk about the rotation first, because this is where the Yankees' biggest risk lies. With Carlos Rodon on the shelf recovering from that procedure, Jarrett Cole still on the mend from Tommy John's surgery, and Clark Schmidt also sidelined, the opening day rotation is thinner than it has been in recent memory. Max Fried, Louis Gill, Cam Schlittler, and Will Warren will be starting, and while those arms are certainly capable, depth is non-existent. In baseball, depth is everything, and when injuries inevitably strike over a long season, a team without it can fall fast. That means Brian Cashman and the entire front office will have to be bold this winter. They can't afford to wait for opportunities to come to them. They need to proactively chase starting pitchers who can step in immediately and provide stability. Trades, free agent signings, perhaps even minor league call-ups that are ready to contribute at the major league level. Every option needs to be considered. Now back to the infield. Volpe's injury and upcoming recovery creates a void at shortstop that the Yankees can't ignore. There are options internally, but most of them are unproven at the big league level. Oswald Peraza has potential, no doubt, but he's shown flashes rather than consistency. Any reliance on him as a starter for the first month or two of the season carries risk. The front office might have to consider a short-term signing, someone experienced enough to stabilize the position until Volpe returns. But the market for quality shortstops is thin, making the decision all the more complicated. You can see why the Yankees are at a crossroads. Every choice has ripple effects across the lineup, the defense, and the team's overall chances of contending right out of the gate. And then there's the outfield, which might be just as complicated. With Aaron Judge firmly in right field and Giancarlo Stanton back to being a full-time designated hitter, that leaves 2 spots for Domings, Bellinger, and Grisham. Boone's commitment to giving Domings regular playing time is essentially a vote of confidence in the young star, and it's also a signal that the Yankees are prioritizing long-term development alongside immediate results. That's great news for fans excited to see Domings reach his potential, but it inevitably means one of the other 2 power bats may be leaving. Cody Bellinger seems like the more likely candidate to return if the Yankees can afford him, but we all know how tricky that can be. Bellinger has proven he can hit for power, defend, and provide the kind of impact that makes a real difference in a championship chase. Yet, his expected price tag may be prohibitive. If he walks, the fallback is Grisham, whose performance has been solid but not exactly superstar level. He's had moments of brilliance, no doubt, but playoff struggles and inconsistency at the plate make him a question mark. The combination of these moves will define the outfield for the foreseeable future and could reshape the identity of the Yankees lineup entirely. But before we continue, please remember to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support allows us to keep bringing you the latest news about the New York Yankees. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments. In what could be the most jaw-dropping transaction in recent baseball history, whispers are swirling around the league that the New York Yankees have secured Shohei Ohtani from the Los Angeles Dodgers in a blockbuster trade. Sources close to the matter suggest that the deal, still unofficial, is unprecedented in scope, potentially reshaping the landscape of Major League Baseball for years to come. While the official statements are yet to come, insiders hint at a mega movement that could send shockwaves not only through New York but across the entire sport. Fans and analysts alike are already speculating about the potential makeup of the trade. The Dodgers, long known for their aggressive acquisitions, are reportedly leveraging a combination of top-tier prospects and established players to bring Ohtani's unmatched two-way talent to the Bronx. The Yankees, meanwhile, are said to be pushing hard to solidify their lineup and pitching roster, viewing Ohtani as the missing puzzle piece to transform them into undeniable World Series contenders. The mere suggestion of Ohtani donning pinstripes has sent social media into a frenzy, with hashtags and fan accounts exploding with excitement, memes, and heated debates. If the deal is confirmed, it would mark a seismic shift in baseball's balance of power. Ohtani, whose rare ability to dominate both on the mound and at the plate has made him a once-in-a-generation player, would instantly become the centerpiece of the Yankees' ambitions. Speculation abounds on how manager Aaron Boone will deploy him. Balancing pitching starts with potential power-hitting appearances. Meanwhile, Dodgers fans are bracing for a significant roster shakeup, as the team's front office reportedly prioritizes long-term depth and a mix of young talent in return. While the official confirmation is awaited, industry insiders are calling this a trade of the decade. Even without official numbers, the rumor has fueled endless conversation, with debates over salary implications, playoff chances, and the future of both franchises dominating sports talk shows and podcasts. One thing is clear. Whether rumor or reality, the mere possibility of Shohei Ohtani in a Yankees uniform has already captured the imagination of baseball fans worldwide. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the New York Yankees, please subscribe to our channel and give us a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.